So just as a reminder, when you finish making a map of some kind and you want to, say, send it to a friend or upload it to the internet, or, for instance, submit your map for a final lab exercise to me, what you're going to want to do is, instead of saving, using File and Save and then sending me the result, what you'll want to do is actually go to File and then Export Map. And what this does is it brings up a different dialog box, which instead of saving the map project, it saves a image file that I can view on my computer, or even on some other computer or whatever. I guess if I wanted to, I could even view it on my cell phone or something like that. And what you do is you want to give it a file name and then pick the file type that you want to export, and you'll notice there are a bunch of different ones here. Some of them you're familiar with, like JPEG, a JPEG file, maybe a GIF file. Some of them are different, EMF, EPS, AI is Adobe Illustrator. These two are files that printers typically use. PDF you're familiar with. SVG is that scalable vector graphics file format I mentioned in class. PNG is another one that is a growing file format for images, and then TIFF is one that's very high quality but very huge file size. So JPEG is probably a good option for this class. If you've got a map that doesn't have a lot of colors, GIF is good because it's small, but basically, JPEG or GIF are probably your best bet. So since this has got a good number of colors, I'll use JPG. And then there are a couple options that you should pay attention to. As you increase resolution size, you increase the number of pixels that are in your map. Now remember, pixel is a picture element, and the more of them there are, the bigger your file size is going to be. So, if I put 12 pixels in here, you end up with a 102 pixels by 132 pixels in size. But if I save this, and then we'll view it very quickly, it's tiny, you zoom in, and things are completely unreadable, right? If we do the same process, File, Export Map, and set a very high pixel number, like 1200, there's about 10,000 pixels on the side, more than that, and it'll take a long time to export, but the detail will be very fine. So we need to strike a balance between that, and one option would be, for instance, 120 dots per inch. So that means that for every inch of the printout or the view on the screen, there are 120 pixels, basically. So if we export this, you'll see that in comparison with that first time I put it up here, we can actually see some pretty clear detail. Now it starts to fall apart when you zoom way in, right? But at normal viewing resolution, like full screen here, we can see enough detail. Things are crisp, they're not too jagged, and they're clear. So you want to strike a balance between lots of detail but a big file size. Like for instance, I forgot to show you, but in this case, the Lab 1 example here that I just exported at 120 dots per inch is about 500 kilobytes, which is half a megabyte or so. And if we export the very small version, for instance, if I say 10 pixels here, or 12 pixels here, right, and export it again, and look at the file size. Now remember, at that 12 pixels, it looks pretty blocky when you look at it full screen. It's mostly unintelligible. If we go to Properties and look, it's very small, 17.5 kilobytes. That's a fraction of the size of the other one, and very quick to download, but you can't get any information from it. If we exported a very large one, a very detailed one at 1200 dots per inch, we'd probably have a 50 megabyte file, and that you couldn't send via email and couldn't post to the internet with any kind of efficiency. So just keep resolution in mind. One other thing, if you do send me your Lab 1 MXD file, the thing that you save when you go to File and Save here, you'll see the following, and I'm going to have to pause to bring up an example, but but you should see it pop up in just a second. This would be what you get. So if you send me the MXD file in your email or post it or whatever, and somebody tries to open it in ArcMap, they get a blank map, essentially. And that's because the information saved in the MXD file doesn't transfer from computer to computer very well. It's inconvenient, but the best bet is to use the file export map option.